This is the all-new Tesla Model X Plaid, a comfortable family SUV that seats 6 people and has more horsepower than a Bugatti Veyron. With a 0 to 60 time of 2.5 seconds, this is the fastest SUV in the world. And unlike a Bugatti Veyron, the doors go up. When Tesla originally released the Model X back in 2015, it took the world by storm. An all-electric SUV that could seat 7 people and for whatever reason came with supercar rivaling doors. Now, Elon Musk claims that it makes it easier to get in and out of in tight spaces, but let's be honest, we really like it because it looks unbelievably cool. Fast forward to 2022 and we have this, the new generation of the Model X. Now, to the untrained eye, it doesn't actually look a whole lot different. And truth be told, 99% of the Model X's brilliance lies beneath the surface. That being said, there are some subtle tweaks, an updated, sleeker front bumper, some nice new wheels, blacked out trim, and a nicer looking rear diffuser. All told, those little improvements result in the lowest coefficient of drag of any SUV ever produced at 0.24. There are 2 variants of the new Model X. The base Model X starts at $99,000, comes with 2 motors, it's all-wheel drive, 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, which is crazy fast for an SUV, and also has 332 miles of range. Now, for the crazy few who deemed it necessary to have 1,020 horsepower in their daily driver family SUV, Tesla has graced us with the tri-motor Tesla Model X Plaid, with over 1,000 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds, and actually 1 more mile of range than the base model at 333 miles. Now, interestingly enough, the X Plaid starts at 120 grand. That's 3 grand less than the Model S Plaid, even though you get an extra seat and the Falcon doors. Pretty cool. Tesla has kept it extraordinarily simple with the X, giving you just 4 options to choose from when you're configuring your car. That is color, wheels, interior color, and whether you want full self-driving or not. White is a free color. Silver, blue, and black will cost you $1,500 extra. Red, for some reason, is $2,500. It's a little bit of a fancier paint. Now, you've got 2 different wheel options to choose from. 20-inch wheels are standard, or the upgraded 22s fitted here. They'll cost you $5,500. They look a lot better, although they do reduce your range by 20 miles. Despite its massive size, the Model X Plaid can run the quarter mile in 9.9 seconds, the exact same time it takes the $2 million McLaren P1 to run the same distance. Now, it goes on to a top speed of 163 miles an hour, which is plenty. Trust me, having been that fast in an SUV before, going over 200, you absolutely do not need that. Now, because the Model X is an electric car, that means we've got space in the front trunk area for extra cargo room. All told, 91 cubic feet of storage, which is more than a BMW X7. It's practical as well. It comes standard with a tow hook. You can tow up to 5,000 pounds. You can even fold the rear seats down for extra storage. Who would have thought we'd live in a world where you can have a practical green SUV with 1,020 horsepower? The Model X Plaid is the king of cool doors. On the driver's side, just tap on the door handle and it will automatically open up. No need to manually open your door like some sort of peasant. Now, if you climb inside, a simple tap on the brake will close the door automatically. On the passenger side, all you have to do is give a light tap to the door lock and the door will automatically close as well. Clicking on the rear door sends that Falcon door upwards into the sky, allowing you easy access every single time. Now, don't worry, these doors are smart enough not to smash themselves into a wall or the roof above you or somebody parked next to you. They've got sensors everywhere and they won't do that. But once it's opened up, it reveals this gorgeous interior. Now, interestingly enough, the Model X Plaid only comes in a 6-seat configuration. Now, that is actually the best configuration because it comes with these gorgeous captain's chairs. The Model X non-Plaid is available as a 5, 6, or 7-seater. The new Model X's interior has been completely overhauled in the best way possible. In fact, Tesla claims that the only components the new car shares with the old one are the seat rails. Most notably, and causing the most amount of commotion on the internet, is the design language of the steering wheel. It's called a yoke, and honestly, I really like it. It's shaped kind of like the bottom of a Formula 1 steering wheel, and though it does take a little bit to get used to, after a couple weeks of driving, you adjust to the yoke, and honestly, I really like the way it makes the driving experience unique from any other car. I mean, think about it. Every other car you're driving has a round steering wheel. Because of the way this is set up, it creates this unique driving experience that is unlike anything else. Now, the first thing you notice, honestly, when you step in the new Model X Plaid, other than the fact that the build quality is really nice, and it looks fantastic in here, I'll get to that, is the massive, massive front windshield that creates a driving experience that is also like no other vehicle. Being able to see into the sky, I mean, it's almost like the entire car is made of glass, is really, really cool. It feels so airy and spacious in here, and especially out in the Malibu canyons. It's a great place to be able to see. Now don't worry, if it gets too sunny, we have these incredible sunshades that cover 99% of this windshield. In reality, they absolutely suck, and this little vanity mirror is hilariously small, but I guess it's better than nothing. Honestly speaking, the interior is very, very nice. It is a radical improvement from the previous generation Model X. It almost doesn't feel like it was built by the same company. Now, you've got 3 interior color options to choose from. There's all black, which in my opinion is a little bit boring, but it is a free, no-cost option. Then you have the 2-tone black and white, which this car has, my absolute favorite, $2,000, and you can get a cream interior for $2,000. There's also either carbon fiber trim or walnut trim. The carbon looks better. The front dash is exactly the same as the Model S Plaid. We've got nice wireless charging ports down here, as well as some storage spaces in here. And I love this massive 17-inch display that works unbelievably well. You can play games, you can watch Netflix, you can swipe through TikTok. It's actually unbelievable. And it also has the first navigation system that I actually find myself using more often than my phone. I can't say the same about any other navigation. You'll notice the design is very clean and simplistic, and I love that. They've even hidden the air vents. That's right, the air actually comes out of these little holes in the dash that you can't actually see. We also don't have any stock, so how do you put the car in drive or use the turning indicators? For the turning indicators, you've got these touch buttons on the steering wheel itself. I actually really like that for the turn indicators, same with the brights and the wipers as well. Now, I don't like it for the position of the horn. It's this tiny little button right here that honestly is kind of, the car just farted when I clicked the horn. That's another feature, it can fart when you click the horn. But if you're in an emergency situation, everyone's used to going like this, but there is no horn right here, and it's kind of hard to reach this small little target. I wish they'd improve that. Now, to put the car into drive, it's got this very unique technology that actually predicts whether you want to go forward or backward. That's called Auto Shift Out of Park Beta. The car senses the surrounding environment, you put your foot on the brake, and then when you tap the gas, hopefully it's going in the right direction. Now, I've turned that off so I can have a little bit more control myself. In order to put the car in drive, you put your foot on the brake, and you swipe on this little strip to the side of the screen forward to go forward or back to go into reverse. And of course, P for park. The second row of seats in the Model X Plaid are incredibly comfortable, and you actually have some really cool creature comforts as well. I really do love the design language, especially this nice chrome trim that supports the seats. They're comfortable as well. I've got plenty of legroom as well as tons of headroom. I even have my own little mini sunroof above my head, which is really, really cool. We've also got USB-C charging ports right here, as well as some cup holders. There's also a little display back here where I can actually watch Netflix while the car is driving, which I think is really cool. And of course, control the climate control. Now, let's move on back to the rear, shall we? Where, surprisingly, I also fit. I got plenty of space back here. I mean, it's not the most comfortable thing in the world, but as someone who's 5'11", I still have headroom, and I could sit next to somebody my size, no problem. Also got cup holders back here as well, and more USB-C charging. All right, let's drive this thing, shall we? Behind the wheel now of the new Model X Plaid, and I have to say, this massive panoramic windshield is one of the coolest things ever driving out here in Malibu. I just love the visibility that it gives you, and it just feels so unique. Now, I'll be honest, it doesn't feel like a small vehicle in any way, shape, or form. It does feel significantly bigger and more cumbersome than the Model S does. But that being said, it's not scary in any way to drive. Compared to something like a BMW X7, it actually feels more nimble than that. We've got a multitude of driving modes to choose from. Right now, we're in Plaid mode for the acceleration. You can choose between chill, sport, and Plaid. In chill mode, it's very chill. It accelerates really slowly, and it's honestly boring. Sport mode, it's a little bit quicker, and Plaid mode is the mode you should be in at all times, unless maybe you're loaning it to a friend or your grandmother. Below that is drag strip mode. That is going to optimize the temperature of the batteries as well as the motors for optimal acceleration and launching. We'll do a launch later, see how fast this thing can sprint from 0 to 60. Now, below that, we've got 3 levels of adjustability for the steering, which I think is really cool in an SUV. Kind of used to that in sports cars, not so much in SUVs. We can go comfort mode, standard, or sport. In comfort mode, it's really light and easy. Sport mode's more direct. I like that. Now, we can even configure the suspension as well. Because this rides on air suspension, you can adjust the height. Anything from very low to medium to high to very high, which is really cool if you need to get over some object or you want to slam it to the ground so it looks a little bit cooler when you're parked in a parking lot. We also can choose between comfort, auto, sport, and advanced in terms of the suspension. I have it in automatic mode right now. Obviously, being a Tesla, this has autopilot, and for $12,000, you can get full self-driving, which once you prove that you can get better than a 98 out of 100 safety score, the car can basically drive itself fully around town. I've experimented with full self-driving beta. It's a little bit scary, but it can pretty much get you from point A to point B, which is absolutely nuts. Now, if you don't get full self-driving, the autopilot system on the highway works incredibly well. And it is such a nice thing for daily commutes where you just click the autopilot button and you just kind of chill out in your luxury car. It really is unbelievable. And the fact that it works in canyon roads is absolutely hilarious to me. These seats are very comfortable and supportive. The car rides very, very well. It's definitely more isolated in here than the previous generation Model X in terms of road noise and wind noise, tire noise, but it is a little bit louder in the cabin than something like a BMW X7. Now, even though this is not a sports car by any means, I'm very curious to see how this handles in the canyon. So we're going to go ahead and put the suspension into sport mode. We're going to put the pedals and steering into plaid mode, steering in sport mode, and off we go. The acceleration in this thing is nuts. Wow, honestly, pretty impressive grip for such a heavy car. Limited body roll too. Wow. I am impressed with the way this handles. Now, obviously, it's not going to corner quite as well as a Cayenne Turbo GT or a Lamborghini Urus, although it will smoke those in a straight line, which is hilarious. This car isn't meant to be the ultimate Nürburgring killing SUV. It's meant to be a comfortable, luxurious six-seater. It's got 3 rows of seats. The Urus and the Cayenne Turbo GT do not have that. And yet it can do 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. And honestly, this is way better in the canyons than I was expecting. The level of grip, even though we don't have the PS4S tires on this, because it's a bigger vehicle, it does well. It slows down decently well as well. Good job, Tesla. This thing is ridiculous. I mean, what a world we live in where I could bring 5 of my friends and we could run the quarter mile in 9.9 seconds. What? And, you know, you could take this on a long road trip. 333 miles of range is plenty, especially if you live in the United States, particularly California. The charging infrastructure, there's superchargers everywhere. And I believe they claim you can get 175 miles of range in just 15 minutes of charging if you're at the 250 kilowatt station, which really is pretty awesome. We definitely have to do a launch before we end this video. I've put the car into drag strip mode right now. It's going to prep the vehicle for the next several minutes, and then we'll be able to do a standing launch. Now, if you don't put it into drag strip mode, you can still just slap the accelerator pedal from a standstill and pull off a very impressive 0 to 60 time, probably 2.7 seconds, something like that. If you do put it into drag strip mode, it's going to prepare the car for a couple minutes to make sure everything's at the optimal temperature, and then you can floor the brake and the gas at the same time. If you do that outside of drag strip mode, it gives you a warning on the screen telling you you've pressed both pedals. I love how I said the brake and the gas when this isn't a gas-powered car. I'm just so used to saying that. Once you're in drag strip mode, you can floor both pedals at the same time. Release the brake, you have this insane plaid graphic on the screen, which I will show you, and then it basically rips your face off as everyone in the passenger seats are screaming. And I love it. I love every second of it. Is this the best daily driver for $120,000 if you need 3 rows of seating? 100%. Without a doubt in my mind, I think this is the best 3-row car that has ever been built, plain and simple. Now, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn the notification bell on, because the next video on this car is a full point of view drive where I'm actually going to be taking a V-Box data logger and doing the world's first instrument test of 0 to 60 on a Model X Plaid. All right, drag strip ready. Floor the brake, floor the gas, and oh! Guys, this thing is ridiculous. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. Seriously, the Model X Plaid is insane. All right, I look forward to seeing you next video.